they've been susceptible. They've given up about 2 a game. What do you guys see on film from that? Just how big of an emphasis is it on the practice field this week to get to the quarterback?
Well, as a D-line, we know that it's very important to get after the quarterback because it changes the game totally. It's a big play. And we're working on the little details to make us better pass rushers, and that's one point of emphasis for us this week.
And last week at Alabama, they've only given up 1 sack in all conference games. Was it a little frustrating, though, to not get any? Because it seems like that's an area where you guys have really made some strides in the last month.
It's always frustrating when you can't get to the quarterback, and that's just something that we're continuing to hit on this week, and we're going to come out trying to take some heads.
Was there anything particular that they did, or are they just as good as advertised personnel-wise?
Who was that?
Alabama, were they just as good as advertised up front at keeping McCarron clean? Is that kind of the secret?
Alabama they had a great offensive line, and they deserve all the credit that they have, and they're a good, talented, competitive offensive line.
Jacques, is it better to have a good opponent after a big loss like you had? Missouri's ranked pretty darn good. Is it better to get your attention?
It does. They're a good football team. They're playing well, and we're not really worried about that. We're worried about us and just having road focus on the challenge that's at hand.
What do they do offensively that impresses you?
Offensively, they got speed, they got tempo, and they got some big receivers. So, they're a very talented football team, and you just can't go out there and just roll your hat on those guys. You got to definitely work hard, and that's something that we're doing this week.
What makes it challenging to get to their quarterback?
Challenging, their offensive line is very good. They got a lot of seniors, and a senior at right and left tackle, if I'm not mistaken. And they just got a lot of experience, and that's something that we're used to now. And we have an experienced defensive line, and we're like I said, we're just worried about ourselves and just having road focus and working on the details that make us a better defensive line.
Jacques, has a lot of people talk about their speed like you did, but average over 200 rushing yards a game. How physical are they in the run game as well?
They have very shifty backs. They can beat you with their feet, definitely, if you let them get on your edges. And, again, our defensive line, we're just worrying about our techniques and setting those points and edges to make us play better. And that's something that we've been talking about ever since Sunday. And we're just trying to get better every single day, and I think we definitely got better today.
Do they change what they do based on whether Franklin or Mock's in there at quarterback, or do they still just kind of run their offense?
From what I've seen, I think they kind of do the same thing. They're both the same type of quarterback. They're speed, run first, throw second, and both of them have wonderful arms, and they can throw it down the field and throw that pretty ball. But that's one thing that we're worried about as a defensive line. Like I said, we're worried about us. We know that what they can do. We just got to do what we're supposed to do, and that's to get after the quarterback.
Obviously, I know that in preparation, y'all are worried about what you're doing, and you're worried about what kind of guys Missouri has. But the fact that there's now a true freshman starting at quarterback for this team, being a senior, being a leader, do you have to make sure that doesn't change the mindset of the team, that everybody kind of stays focused, or has that not been an issue?
I don't think it's been an issue. We don't really look at our opponent as the seniority and what all that. We look at our opponent's faces. We go out there.
Oh no, I meant with you guys. So with you guys, like with Josh starting now here. Does that change anything for this team, you think?
Oh, our quarterback.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Excuse me. We put that into the coaching staff's hands. Coach Jones, he's done a tremendous job coming in, making those decisions, and we trust everything that he does. And I feel like whatever choice he makes is going to be the best for Tennessee.
What kind of impression did Josh make when he first got on campus? I know we've heard a lot about his academic record and his smirks and stuff, but what was the first impression he made when y'all first got to know him?
He's a tall athlete, and he can run, throw, and he's very intelligent, as you can tell, with all the awards that he was credited before even coming to Tennessee. And he's just a very smart guy, and I'm just so glad to have him on our team.
Has that translated to the football field from what you can tell from the practice field, just that intelligence?
Almost certainly.
Jacques, the fact that he can run, and you face some running quarterbacks this year, obviously, what does that do for defense, and what can he do in that game Saturday to maybe throw them a little bit off defensively? Joshua. You face some running quarterbacks this year. Joshua's obviously got the ability to run. What does that do for a defense when you're playing a quarterback like that?
Well, Josh, they stick him in there, and he does everything that the coaches ask him, and he's doing everything that the seniors ask out of him, and he's just falling into the role and what we need him to be. And the coaching staff made a great decision in putting him there, and we're just so glad that Coach Jones is making the right decisions for this football team, and everything that he's doing is putting us in the right place. And he made the choice to put him there, and we're gonna stick with his choice.
But on defense, you face quarterbacks like that. What challenge does that present for you guys or guys on defense when you face a quarterback with the ability to run the ball like that?
I mean, it gives you the typical challenges. I mean, you got to make sure that you have gap integrity and staying on your points on the quarterback, and that's something that we've always had established within our defensive line play, and that's the details that we work on every single week.